How's it going, everyone? Geez, what a weather out there. You know, it's wind and rain, and it's not definitely not a gardening weather at the moment. Anyways, although we're getting a few days there in between that, you know, you can get a bit of done, but a few jobs to be done. Gathering up them leaves is a brilliant thing to do this weather. Obviously, there's plenty of them falling, so it's a brilliant compost to start mulching up. So look at, anyways. So tonight I was doing a few microgreen growings, growing some microgreens, and I said, why not do a video? It might be of use to some of you guys out there that might be interested in growing microgreens or might already be growing microgreens. I like to use a soilless kit because they're inside in the house, and I don't like bringing dirty soil into the house a lot of the time. So I like to use these. Basically, they're grow mats, they're hemp mat, and when you're growing, think about microgreens. A lot grows out of a small batch. So like I use these small trays, they're about 7 by 9 or something like that. I find there's loads in that for a family of 3. I don't tend to go with the bigger trays for microgreens. I just feel for our family it's just too much, and you'll end up, you know, the seeds go mouldy. So you want to be, you know, you're better off growing less and growing them more frequently. So what we do with the mats, we just run them under the tap first to get them nice and just wet them up a bit. You don't want them soaking wet, so you just wring them out a bit. I've already done them in the tap, so it's actually a little bit too much. You want to just wring them out a little bit like that and then place them in. So the seeds I'm going to do tonight is broccoli, I think. These are the kits, the microgreen kits. So they come with 2 trays, 4 mats, and a load of seeds. So what I'm going to do is go with these organic broccoli. Sorry now, you couldn't see that. And we're going to go with, there's peas as well. So it comes with 4 different packs of seeds. I think we'll do finally crest, or I'm going to do the crest one. So with, what I like to do is, it comes with a liquid seaweed as well. Very good for germinating the seeds and keeping the microgreens misted as the growing is going on. So I've already mixed up a bit of the seaweed in this box. So I like to spray the mat. I'm going to turn on the sprayer. So I spray the mat with a little bit of the liquid seaweed and water mix. This is an Emerald Mist bottle, but it's one that was used up, so I just added the seaweed to it to save, just to reuse it. And I like to just spray the mat with the liquid seaweed after you run them out a bit. So then with the broccoli, now there should be enough in it nearly for two servings, as I say. So you want a good heaped tablespoon. You can see them nice organic seeds. So what we're going to do is just sprinkle them over the mat, and you can see they're in like that. So what we're going to do is you can just spread them around with your hand, because they will stick to the bottom of the mat anyway. So, and you can give them another little spray. And if you see the mat cover is a little bit, you can see a lot of mat through that. So don't be afraid to add a little bit more of the seeds to it. And sometimes the seeds will be on top of each other, but I wouldn't panic too much about that. They will grow through each other anyways and grow up quite well. So once they're done like that, that is really it. There's not much more. But the whole thing, the worst thing you can actually do is skimp on the seeds. So you're better off with a little bit too many as too little, because if there's too little, they just won't grow. You know, again, look at volume is very important, because they'll support each other when they're growing up. So I just spread them out like that, and I'll give that another spray. So you can even use the spoon as a good thing for just flattening them out on the mats as well. So what we want to do with that now is cover it completely. And I just have all tin foil there that we use for other trays. So I'm just going to pull that over. So we want to keep that in complete darkness, somewhere reasonably warm. But it's very important every day give it a little mist, because you don't want the mats to dry out, and if the mats dry out, the seeds will dry out and just won't grow properly. So it's very important just to keep an eye on them, but keep them covered. And when they're ready, they'll actually start pushing off the tin foil, and that's very important. So then, so just leave that. I'm going to leave that one side there, and tomorrow morning I'll spray it. I'll check it twice a day just to make sure that everything is right. So the finally crest is the very same thing. I said I was doing the crest, didn't I? Yeah. So the crest is the same thing. We're going to throw on the seeds again, and you can see they're different seed now altogether. They're a lot finer of a seed. Now, with some of them, you can soak these fine leaf crest overnight if you want, or for 5 or 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever, if you want. I don't really bother anymore, to be honest with you. I find when I'm using the liquid seaweed and the water mixed, they germinate for quite quickly anyway. So I don't bother with that. So that's now. So it's no harm. They will expand a little bit more than the broccoli ones. So I would just like, you don't go as heavy with them, but just you want a bit of covering on the mat as well. And again, the very same thing with these. You don't want them over watered. You don't want them, you want to keep them in darkness now, and that's very important. The other thing when you're growing microgreens is don't overwater them. It's the same as growing wheatgrass and other plants indoors. If you tend to overwater them, you'll end up with more mold. They don't need a huge volume of water to grow properly. So you just want to spray them, mist them little and often. That's what you want, and keep a good eye on them, because say if the mats, and it's a good idea to do. I like to do 2 trays at a time, because as one is coming on, you have the other, and then you can rotate them. And the other thing is, don't mix the seeds. Very important, because seeds will germinate at different rates. So like in the past, people always phoned up and said, oh, I done half with broccoli, half with peas, or half with something else, and they're not growing. Like the peas will grow, and then you have to take the cover off to cover that. So you just want to do that. So look they're the soilless kits. They're absolutely super job. There's no doubt about it. And the thing about it is, why grow microgreens? Because they contain up to in some cases 8 to 10 times more nutrient than a fully grown plant. So you think of it, them tiny little shoots contain they're small, but they pack a mighty punch, and they're delicious. You can put them into lots of different salads, dinners, and everything else. They're just an amazing thing to, and look at more nutrition for you. So where do you go? So that's it. So you can just stack them on top of each other and leave them somewhere. You can leave them in a hot press, but look at, I always say, if you leave them where you can keep an eye on them, it's the main thing. If you leave them out of sight, out of mind, and you'll forget about it, and you come back in and 3 days later and they're all dried out. So leave them somewhere, and if your other half doesn't mind, leave them on the windowsill at the kitchen or somewhere like that. That's really good. So it's quite simple. Get the mats nice and clean. You can see there's no soil involved. It's quite handy. The other thing, what I'm doing here is, tomorrow we're doing some wheatgrass. I'm growing some wheatgrass, and because we love juicing our greased wheatgrass, it's absolutely amazing, freshly juiced. So what we're doing is we're soaking these overnight for 12 hours, and tomorrow morning then I'm going to drain them, rinse them, and maybe I'll sow them then tomorrow evening. Again, they're going to be done on the mats as well. And we're going to do with the wheatgrass, we're going to be doing them in bigger trays, because you'll need a lot more wheatgrass to make juice out of than they do grow, but when you're juicing it, you lose up a lot of it. So look I hope that helps. That's microgreen growing, and if they look at the kits come with everything you need to get started. It comes with seeds, trays, spray bottles, the whole lot to get your growing process. Because look at what better things to do. It's a dark, dreary old night out there. What better thing to be doing than getting a bit of indoor gardening going. So look I hope that helps. We'll talk to you all soon, and Ollie Green Better Plants. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.